Hi everyone, today I will be talking to you guys about my analysis of scientific literature number 2, which I decided to focus on childhood obesity. The article that I chose was the association of beverage consumption with obesity in Mexican American children. So the preview of main points, I will be discussing a little bit about what the research problem behind it is, the hypothesis, the participants and how they were selected, the study design, the results, the strengths and limitations of the study, as well as some conclusions that came out of it. The research problem is that childhood obesity is so prevalent among people in the United States, but more specifically seen in Latino children. And the authors of this study set out to determine if there was an association between beverage consumption, specifically sugar-sweetened beverages, and obesity in Mexican American children. And although the study had been tested before, it revealed mixed and inconclusive results because some found associations between it and others did not. And there was no direct hypothesis stated, but it was assumed that there was an association between beverage consumption and obesity among this population. So the participants and the criteria, it was 326 Mexican American children who resided in the San Francisco Bay Area. These participants were recruited from membership lists from their healthcare system, which was Kaiser Permanente in Northern California. So parents were sent out a letter introducing the study and also allowed them to opt out of it if they decided not to participate in it. They had 2 weeks to make a decision and then were followed up by a research assistant who then screened for eligibility if they actually wanted to participate. In doing so, children had to meet the age requirement of being 8 to 10 years old, present no major illnesses, and had to have a mother of Mexican origin, which meant having their mother born in the United States or in Mexico. Notably, the child's BMI was not taken into consideration or not a factor of allowing one to participate or not. So if these children did not meet these requirements, they were not allowed to participate, and because these children are underage, they had to have their parents provide written informed consent. So for the study design, it was a 2-year period in which it occurred. Mothers and children were assessed from home through a questionnaire called the Youth and Adolescent Food Frequency Questionnaire that typically assesses diet, but in this case it was used to measure beverage frequency as well as amount. So parents were asked questions regarding beverage consumption of beverages such as milk to water to juice to soda. So mothers were the ones to answer the questions, but the children were able to jump in if they found that they needed to. So once they had answered the researcher's question, she or he had to convert the amount given into liquid ounces, which notably 1 ounce equals 30 milliliters. So the average consumption was then determined by multiplying the number of days that the beverage was consumed per week by typical volume consumption. This value was then divided by 8 to determine how many 240 milliliters were consumed. So again, 240 milliliters equals to 8 ounces. There were controlling variables that were also measured. Children's fast food consumption was measured. Physical activity levels were also measured, as well as screen time. Both height and weight were measured for the mothers and the children. Mothers were measured in Spanish language use, the country of origin, body mass index, education level, income, and occupational level. The results of the study yielded that of the 326 participants that started, there was only data for 319. So child's BMI was also taken into consideration and was then set up into age and gender percentiles. So in order for someone to be categorized as obese, their BMI had to be greater than or equal to the 95th percentile. So the studies revealed that 87% consumed soda or another sugar-sweetened beverage. Of those children, 99% consumed some sort of milk. So the hypothesis was supported in the sense that there was a clear association between soda consumption and obesity in Mexican American children. So for each additional 240 milliliters that were consumed, it increased the child's obesity rate by 29%. And this study does present strengths and limitations. The strengths include a large sample size. The assessment was done with the mother and children from home. There was a variety of beverages, multiple variables were controlled, and it was a study conducted on a population that is at high risk of obtaining obesity or being overweight. Limitations included the cross-sectional design of the study, which affected how the association was interpreted, and the interviews were self-reported, which may have limited the results in the sense that mothers could have easily reported data like in a biased way. So for conclusions, applications, and future research, the clear conclusion was that obesity rates can be increased if they consume additional servings of milliliters, and intervention approaches need to be taken in order for them to try and reduce soda consumption among this group, but also prevent obesity rates from going higher. So as far as applications and future research, an experimental study should be conducted to see if once parents have been given this information about consuming healthier beverages, would obesity rates lower or would they stay the same or go higher? Thank you.